Hello, hello. Today's episode, we are going to talk about what does that woman in the mirror need from me today? Let's get into it. All right, so I'm Judith Catan. I am a master certified coach and a personal stylist, former lawyer, author, podcaster, all the things. And I have been thinking about this episode for a really, really long time because I think sometimes my clients are not looking at themselves in the mirror at all. So that's like the first hurdle. The second thing I've noticed that when they start to look at themselves in the mirror more often, they're being really nitpicky and harsh to themselves. And third, I believe that there's a benefit in getting some objectivity from your own thoughts so that you can examine them, rewrite them, evaluate them, and maybe, dare I say, change them. So when I was thinking about this episode, I was thinking about Mel Robbins' high five to yourself in the mirror. And I think that has its benefits, and she talks a lot about how that's scientifically sound, et cetera, et cetera. You can go listen to her about that if you want to. What I wanted to do was take that and extend it out a little bit further. Because I think for some of my clients, the concept of high-fiving themselves, or I've heard like winking at yourself in the mirror, I think that works for some folks and not so well for others. I think if it activates your internal gag reflex, so to speak, and you're like, this is cheesy, I'm not enjoying this, I think that it's not actually going to be effective, and it might be akin to some toxic positivity. I'm not into shouting mantras down your throat. What I am into is you looking at your thoughts, recognizing that they're not you. You have thoughts. You are not your thoughts, thankfully. And that we get to reframe them. We get to create some new rewiring in our brain whenever we'd like. Now, why is a style coach telling you this? Because so often I think that we're trying to do this from external inward, trying to change our clothes, get the right outfit, the right clothes, and then magically, change-o presto, we're then allowed to feel good about ourselves. And the way I teach style and the way that I teach mindset work in my program is that we think, which creates an emotion, and from that place we choose what to put on our bodies or not. We choose how to care for ourselves or not. And I think sometimes we're so excited about the external changes that we forget the lasting ones that help perpetuate those external changes are the internal ones. So yes, I do think there's benefits to high-fiving yourself or winking at yourself in the mirror, absolutely. But I want to take it a step further. And I want you to think about the woman who's going to wake up tomorrow morning. How do we hook her up? How do we take care of business today to make her life a little bit easier tomorrow? When I go to look at myself in the mirror, what I want you to practice is when you go to look at yourself in the mirror the next time, and yes, I'm going to ask you to go actually look in the mirror. How do I support the woman staring back at me? I get a little layer of objectivity. How do I hook her up? What does she need from me today? How do I best support her? How do I take care of her? Yes, in terms of how do I clothe her body, but also do I make sure she has enough water? Because some of y'all are not drinking enough water. It's basic stuff. How do I make sure that I don't drink caffeine all day so that she can sleep tonight? How do I feed her well? Not from a restrictive place. How do I support her? Maybe I don't put on the bra that pokes me in the underarm all day. I wear the other one. Oh, wait, I make sure it's clean. How do I create this relationship with myself that's not just gimmicks and high fives and winks or the right product, the perfect outfit, quote unquote, but instead, do I build a relationship with myself that acknowledges that there's a human who needs some support and help staring back at me? Because my body's going to change, right? We're in a state of entropy, as some people like to say. Our body's in a state of, gravity at work, decay. We're all going through that process, all of us, from the moment we're born. It doesn't happen magically when you turn 30 or 40. We are all undergoing this process. Our bodies are constantly changing. We shed skin. We get new skin all the time. It's kind of crazy. We get new hair. We're shedding it like crazy. Our bodies are always in this state of flux and change. So if I'm relying on the outfit to bring the magic, then I've stopped paying attention to the thing that's going to carry me through to the end of my life. But when I stop and I pause and I Really look at her from a zoomed out place, not a nitpicky, zoom in the mirror, nitpick my body parts, right? Remember I said that was problem number 2? But when I really stop to look and I tell myself lovingly, zoom out, love, whole picture, whole human, whole self, how can I best support you today? I like to tease my clients sometimes, especially those in my Modern Charm School membership, that at heart we're toddlers. We still need snacks and naps, people to pick our clothes for us, do our hair, right? We need reassurance, security, belonging. We're still very human. And that's the best news ever. Because if you're recognizing your humanity and it's not just a series of aspirational purchases that are going to get you to that magical place where suddenly you feel good about yourself, but instead you're thinking kinder thoughts, you're feeling more kindness, self-compassion, maybe developing some self-trust, then when it comes to making decisions about what we wear, what we eat, how we care for ourselves, where we wear makeup or do our hair or not, we're coming from a place that no matter what is happening to our body, we have our own back. So your Glam Gal mission, should you choose to accept it, is to, step 1, I do want you to look in the mirror. I want you to start paying attention to yourself, particularly if you're like fly-by-nighting. Stop and pay attention. Second, yeah, you can high five or wink if you'd like, but I would love for you to ask the question, how can I support you today? What do you need from me? And how can I hook you up? What support do you need from me today? Now, the funny thing is, you might find that these are seemingly insignificant things that you're going to request from you. Go do them. There's a benefit to hearing your own voice and meeting your needs. That's what I've got for you today. Now go out, go forth, conquer, and slay. Miss J out.